And now it's time for This Week in History, trivia style. 7 questions, all multiple choice answers, set to medium difficulty. The goal is to get through all 7 and to answer all 7 correctly. That's what it's about, all right? Yeah, I promise you, I'm telling you right now, these are not difficult, but maybe you don't know everything. But if you get all 7 correct, you're going to feel better. I know it's hard to believe. It's just 7 little silly, medium difficulty, multiple choice questions. But it's amazing how rare it is for any of us to go all 7 for 7. Now, as always, you are responsible for maintaining your own score, and it's blackjack, no trade back. If I read your answer, that's your answer. If you change your answer, there's no trade back. But if you decide to give yourself the correct answer, even though you gave a wrong answer and then changed your answer, whatever. Put an asterisk next to your name, okay? It's your own integrity that's at question here. Well, you are going crazy on the likes. Thank you. I appreciate it. I see it over there. You want answers? I think I'm entitled to. Yeah, we did that. On the question number 1. On February 17th, 1801, which political event concluded after 36 ballots in the House of Representatives? It's February 17th, 1801. You can stop with the likes and the hearts, man. I get it. Thank you. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't help at all. On February 17th, 1801, which political event concluded after 36 ballots in the House of Representatives? I'm just going to move it so I can't see it. Here are your multiple choice answers. Was it the Missouri Compromise, the election of Thomas Jefferson as president, the ratification of the Bill of Rights, or the impeachment of John Adams? February 17th, 1801, which political event concluded after 36 ballots in the House of Representatives? 36 ballots. That means that's not 36 votes. That means they voted 36 times to do something. And this is 1801, so this is 30 years after the United States. James is going to go with the ratification of the Bill of Rights. And again, here are your multiple choice options. The Missouri Compromise. Yeah, there it is. I found it. There's my little thing I had to move on the... I'm so glad I kept that open. All right. The Missouri Compromise, the election of Thomas Jefferson as president, the ratification of the Bill of Rights, or the impeachment of John Adams. I believe in the... we got the Declaration of Independence, that's 1776. I don't think it took us 30 years to do the United States Constitution. I think the United States Constitution is a lot closer to 1776 than it is to 1801. The impeachment of John Adams, I don't think he was impeached. There was a president that was impeached before Bill Clinton, that was impeached before the multiple impeachments of Donald Trump and the future impeachments of Donald Trump. Was Missouri a state in the 1800s? Yes. Yes. And it could have been because of February 17th, 1801, when it took them 36 votes, 36 ballots, to come up with what was known as the Missouri Compromise. So you have already said the ratification of the Bill of Rights. Adult Video Awards, very funny, Robert. I thought that was very funny. I am going to go with the Missouri Compromise. I am waiting for an official answer from Robert and for Jessica, who I can see she's splitting her time with us and something else. Robert's going to go with the ratification of the Bill of Rights as well. And as a quick reminder, you are allowed to give one gag answer and then one actual answer, but your gag answer can't be one of the answers. Jessica has popped back in, and she's going with Missouri. So we got 2 Missouris and 2 Bill of Rights. And this is where our paths divide. Well, 2 of us are either right or 2 of us are either wrong. Somebody is not going to go 7 for 7 this week. Question number 2. On February 19th, 1942, which U.S. action was authorized during World War II? February 19th, 1942, which U.S. action was authorized during World War II? Was it the Manhattan Project, the D-Day invasion, Japanese-American internment, or the Marshall Plan? February 14th, 1942, which U.S. action was authorized during World War II? Again, your multiple choice options are the Manhattan Project, the D-Day invasion, Japanese-American internment, or the Marshall Plan. I've got my answer. I'm curious as to what your answers may be. With a little love and some tenderness, walk across the water, find an open nest. James says the Marshall Plan. James is so far wrong. He is so far from right. He is so far from being correct, it's actually funny. Robert, trying to be funny, but fails, went with Action Jackson. They can't all be winners. Doomsday, D-Days was January, right? So things after? Okay. I will give you a quick history lesson as I explain my answer once I see Jessica's answer, because I don't want to, I'm trying not to, influence anybody's answers so that I can be the only one to go 7 for 7, so that I can feel even better about myself. Here's what I'm going to tell you. The Marshall Plan is wrong, okay? The Marshall Plan comes after the war. So it's not going to happen a couple of months into the war. Jessica says internment? Is that your answer or not? Okay. The Manhattan Project, we've only been at war with Japan for 3 months. It seems a little premature that the very first thing we're going to do is say, big bomb, big bomb. The D-Day invasion doesn't occur until June of 1944. The correct answer, the only answer, as Robert just said, as Jessica said, as James did not say, is the decision to intern Japanese Americans, who at the time were just Japanese living in America. That's what they were, and they were deemed a security risk, and they may have been. But there also may have been a whole bunch of good people swept up in this, because there was no real way of doing due diligence back then, okay? This is 1942, and if you look different, you got interned. Let's be honest, Japanese internment camps have been compared to Nazi concentration camps, and they are nowhere near the same thing. How do you know that? Because people who were in the internment camps went on to live successful lives and will tell you about their families and how they lived in the internment camps, and many, 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 many millions of people in concentration camps could never do that. All right, question number 3. On February 20th, 1962, who became the first American to orbit Earth? Was it Alan Shepard, Neil Armstrong, John Glenn, or Gus Grissom? Again, February 20th, 1962. Who became the first American to orbit Earth? And the 4 options you have in front of you are 4 famous astronauts. Alan Shepard, Neil Armstrong, John Glenn, or Gus Grissom. Immediately, the Taneys both agree it's Glenn and Glenn, although they couldn't agree on spelling. It's 2 N's. Waiting on Robert's answers before I tell you the correct answer. And again, all 4 of them were famous astronauts. All 4 of them are famous for being astronauts for different reasons. And Robert dropped off, or he forgot how to type, and I'm not going to wait long. My answer, along with the Taneys, I agree with Jessica. John Glenn with 2 N's. Moving on. On February 21st, 1965, which civil rights leader was assassinated in New York City? February 21st, 1965, what civil rights leader was assassinated in New York City? And the reason I caught myself, here's what I do. I read the question, and what I should do is go to the multiple choice answers. But in the past, a lot of you like to answer the questions before I get to the multiple choice, like right now. All right, Robert finally went with Alan Dershowitz. Very funny. Then decided on Gus Grissom. Like right now, he said Malcolm X. I give you an extra point if you can answer it before I give the multiple choice. But it takes up too much time when there's an 8-second delay. So I'm going to start reading the question, and I'm going to read you your multiple choice, and then I'll repeat them in time to give you time to answer. And if you know it, you know it. Martin Luther King Jr. was your first option. Malcolm X was your second option. Your third option, Medgar Evers. Your fourth option, James Meredith. The question again. On February 21st, 1965, which civil rights leader was assassinated in New York City? Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Medgar Evers, or James Meredith? I'm burping. Yes, indeed, I'm burping. All right, so far I have one answer, Malcolm X. I have 2 answers, Malcolm X. I am surprised that Mr. Taney did not spell X wrong. Jessica, I believe, will say Malcolm X as well. We all know who it was. Robert. Why does Robert keep popping up? Malcolm X. Oh, because the little X? I don't know. The heck is going on over there? What the heck's going on there? Jessica, Malcolm X. I will finish it off agreeing with Malcolm X. What was, for extra points, what was the distractor that was shouted in the room before he was shot? Out in the audience, somebody yells out something to make everybody look back here when there's something going on over there. What was the distractor? Anybody know? Does anybody know? If you don't know, I'll tell you at the end of today's episode. On February 22nd, 1732, which future U.S. president was born? John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, or James Madison? On February 22nd, 1732, which U.S. future president was born? John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, or James Madison? I learned something interesting about Thomas Jefferson recently as part of Black History Month. And it is that everything that we thought we knew, everything that we were taught was wrong. It's not true. So because of that, I'm going to go with Thomas Jefferson. That's my answer. And that is a straight-up guess because I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. This is one of those, if you know, you know. And if you don't know, you don't know. Taney's going to go with Adams. Excuse me, Mr. Taney's going to go with Adams. Again, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, James Madison. Jessica's going to go with Adams. There may have been a TV show I should have watched that they think he's got a gun, I believe, was the distractor. That is not correct. That's, I guess, good. That could have been a good distractor. We're going to give Robert time to answer. I got a gun, I believe, was okay. Jimmy Carter. Funny. Not hilarious, but funny. On February 23rd, 1945, which iconic World War II photo was taken? I'm not going to say it's iconic. I'm going to tell you what they say. It is the most memorable image taken of all time. This is it. It was taken on February 23rd, 1945. It is so popular. It is so amazingly popular. I'm not giving you the multiple choice answers. On February 23rd, 1945, which iconic World War II photograph was taken? Taney, Mister, is going to go with sailor kissing a random chick. No. Madison is Robert's answer for our previous question. Again, without the multiple choice options. It is the most iconic photo ever taken. It was taken on February 23rd, 1945. What is it? As an additional clue, it was World War II. Mr. Taney is going to go with sailor kissing a random chick. Robert and Jessica are not going to answer because I didn't give multiple choice options. Well, I'm sorry. This one does not require multiple choice. Robert is going to literally copy and paste James's answer. He's going to go with sailor kissing another sailor. And I'm going to tell you, when you hear the answer, when Robert hears the answer specifically, he's going to feel dumb, stupid. Because depending on where he's sitting in the house right now, he can just look over there and see it. I'm not saying anything, okay? I haven't said anything. I'm saying that this is the United States Marine Corps has said it is the most iconic image ever taken in the history of mankind. And I agree with their propaganda. It is the most iconic image taken in the history of mankind. You are probably going to try to change your answer, but you're wrong, sir. Suribachi, that's funny. In that I think you're trying to be funny. But yes, it is. Some of us need multiple choice. The raising of the flag on Mount Suribachi on the island of Iwo Jima on February 23rd, 1945 is the most iconic photograph ever taken in the history of mankind. Everyone has seen it. Everyone knows what it is. Many people see a dude kissing a woman in Times Square and think, that's Tuesday. I don't think anything of it. But the raising of the flag over Mount Suribachi on the island of Iwo Jima, it's a big deal. It's a BFD. It was such a big deal that they did it once and it wasn't good enough. So they ran it again. Let's do it again till we get it right with a much bigger flag. On February 24th, 1868, our final question of the day. On February 24th, 1868, which U.S. president... When I was a young man, I would tell people all the time, unless you're stupid, if you're taking a test, read the entire test first. Don't even have a writing instrument clasp between your opposable thumb and your index finger. Read the entire test first, because you will find there are times that the test answers other questions. And this is one of those instances. Listen carefully for question number 7. On February 24th, 1868, which U.S. president became the first to be impeached by the House of Representatives? Was it Ulysses S. Grant, Abraham Lincoln, Andrew Johnson, or Rutherford B. Hayes? Ignore everything I just said. Because they're different things on different days. 1868, February 24th, which U.S. president became the first to be impeached by the House of Representatives? Epstein. Funny. Here are your options. Ulysses S. Grant, Abraham Lincoln, Andrew Johnson, or Rutherford B. Hayes. On February 24th, 1868, which president became the first to be impeached by the House of Representatives? Ulysses S. Grant, Abraham Lincoln, Andrew Johnson, or Rutherford B. Hayes? Jackson, not an option. Maybe you were trying to be funny. Maybe. All right, you're going to go with Grant. James is going to go with Grant. Jessica's going to go with Grant. Robert is going to go with Hayes. And I'm going to tell you the correct answer is Johnson. They hated him. Hated him. Ulysses S. Grant was a war hero, I believe. And, yeah. Who's buried in Grant's tomb? It's always a good question. Answers, please. Remember, I don't know the answers to the questions officially until I type in answers, please, and then it comes to be this way. Don't let me forget, I owe you a prompt. I owe you the distractor. Question number 1. Did anybody choose the election of Thomas Jefferson as president? No. No, none of us did. Starting at question number 1, none of us are going to go 7 for 7 this week. Right now, the best we could do is 6 for 7. It's the best we could do. Everybody eliminated on question number 1. Question number 2 was the Japanese-American internment camps. Question number 3 was John X. Question number 4 was Malcolm X. Question number 5, the forefather of our country was born in 1732. And I chose poorly. I did not choose him. Question number 6 was the raising of the flag on Iwo Jima. And question number 7 was, in fact, Andrew Johnson. So, now that you have all the correct answers, how did you do? I myself went 5 for 7. And I don't feel bad. I feel okay. I would have preferred to go 6 for 7. I would have really liked to go 7 for 7 because I'm a smart man and I should be able to go 7 for 7. But I didn't. 5 is the best I could do. I said all that to give you time to answer. How did you do? Oh, it gave me another option there. And I have no responses from any of you. So we're going to wrap it all up. I'm going to tell you what the distractor was. Very famously, in the back of the audience, a man yelled out, "Get your hand out of my pocket!" And everybody turned around to see what the ruckus was. But what they saw was a man running out the building, and in front of them, Malcolm X is assassinated. So many, many times over the years, if you've known me, you may hear me say something like, "Get your hands out of my pocket." I'm shooting a distractor. I'm taking your mind off something so I could deliver a decisive blow somewhere else. Huh? You didn't think I knew about stuff like that, did you? 501 hearts on a TikTok that's filled with hate. That's hilarious. You clicked a lot, sir. All right, and with that being said, we're going to wrap it up for this week. Ladies and gentlemen, I remind you today, as I remind you every day, just be the best person that you could be. And if you were a great person today, be an even better person tomorrow. Chick Brew sends her love. A new episode of the Lunsby Show is on its way. Thanks for playing along on The Supplemental. Stay safe. Lunsby!